African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of July 14, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Troop Group improved their tactical position, inflicted defeats on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized, tank, ranger, airborne assault brigades, 2 assault regiments, and an airborne assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Aleksivka, Rzevka, Kondratovka, Kropovshchina, Varakino, and Sadki in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, damage was inflicted on units of the Airborne Assault Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements Okremovka, Katnai, and Volchansk in the Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 150 servicemen. 3 armored combat vehicles, 4 cars, 3 field artillery guns, and a Plastin electronic reconnaissance station were destroyed. Units of the West Troop Group improved their frontline position, inflicted defeats on formations of 4 mechanized brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Petro-Ivanovka, Petrovka, Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region, Kaladizi, Zelenaya Dolina, and Torskoy in the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of the Armed Forces of Ukraine amounted to more than 220 servicemen, 1 armored combat vehicle, 20 cars, and 2 artillery guns. 4 electronic warfare stations, an air target detection radar station, and 5 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the South Troop Group improved their tactical position. They inflicted defeats on personnel and equipment of 4 mechanized, airmobile, mountain assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Kleben Byk, Pleshchivka, Zakatnoy, Slavyansk, Seversk, Krivaya Luka, Svyatopokrovskoy, Konstantinovka, Serebryanka, and Dranovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 130 servicemen, a Kazakh armored vehicle, 8 cars, 2 field artillery guns, 2 electronic warfare stations, and 5 ammunition depots. Units of the Center Troop Group continued advancing into the enemy's defense depth and liberated the settlement Mayak in the Donetsk People's Republic. Damage was inflicted on formations of 6 mechanized, 2 assault, ranger, airborne brigades, 2 drone system brigades, 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 Marine brigades, 3 territorial defense brigades, and 4 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements Krasnoarmysk, Yudaknoy, Novopavlovka, Rodinskoy, Vladimirovka, Muravka, Petrovskoy, Stepanovka, Dmitrov in the Donetsk People's Republic, Novopodgorodnoy, and Filia in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to up to 360 servicemen, a U.S.-made HMMWV armored combat vehicle, a Kazakh armored vehicle, and 4 artillery guns. As a result of active and decisive actions by units of the East grouping of troops, the settlement of Malinovka in the Zaporizhzhia region was liberated. The manpower and equipment of the mechanized, airborne assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the Marine Brigade, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Temirovka, Poltavka in the Zaporizhzhia region, Novopoli and Tolstoy in the Donetsk People's Republic were defeated. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 185 servicemen, 4 armored combat vehicles, 11 vehicles, 2 field artillery guns, and 1 Verba multiple rocket launcher combat vehicle. Units of the Dnieper grouping of troops improved their tactical position, defeating formations of the mechanized, mountain assault brigades, 2 coastal defense brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Kamenskoy, Plavny, Novoandriivka in the Zaporizhzhia region, Sadavoy, Poniatowka, and Nikolskoye in the Kherson region. Up to 60 servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 6 vehicles, 7 electronic warfare stations, An Israeli-made Rada RPS-42 radar station, and 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops and artillery of the groupings of troops of the armed forces of the Russian Federation inflicted defeat on an ammunition production enterprise, recruitment centers, military airfield infrastructure, storage sites for unmanned aerial vehicles and anti-ship missiles, ammunition and fuel depots, and temporary deployment points of the armed forces of Ukraine and foreign mercenaries in 140 areas. Air defense systems shot down 3 guided aerial bombs and 120 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. A total of since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 663 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 69,490 unmanned aerial vehicles, 616 anti-aircraft missile systems, 24,212 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,577 multiple rocket launcher combat vehicles, 27,356 field artillery pieces and mortars, 38,143 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.